And that is the latest Fox News polling that shows a dead heat between President Obama and Republican nominee Mitt Romney as we get into the heart of the general election season. And Internet, the 8% of voters still undecided in this race are up for grabs and will be sought assiduously for the next 28 weeks, I can guarantee you. And this is Power Play, a very special 1-hour-long Power Play coming to you from the Davis Center at Georgetown University. Internet, as you know, I could have never, ever gotten into this school, nor, frankly, would Power Play Mom and Dad ever have paid. But I was able to sneak in through the good offices of Brad Blakeman, who is a professor here. We'll be talking to him later. We'll be talking to Brett Baer later. We'll be talking to Steve Hayes later, Jill Lawrence. We've got a couple of congressmen. We've got the young Republican and young Democrat leaders from the campus. It's going to be probably pretty fantastic. I think you can probably already surmise that, Internet. And I can think of no better way to kick it off than the top spokesman, the lead communicators for the Republican and Democratic parties, Sean Spicer. He is the communications director for the Republican National Committee. Brad Woodhouse, he is the communications director for the Democratic National Committee. They have both been on before separately, but here they are together. And I wonder if you guys have any disagreements.
For a genteel few minutes.
For a genteel few minutes together.
Absolutely.
In the high-minded spirit of Georgetown University.
Absolutely.
You know,
well, we look forward to it.
Okay, guys, so here's the question. And I want to start with you. I want to start with you, Brad. Brad Woodhouse. You're listed in the program as Bob Woodhouse. That's not so.
Well,
that's not so.
Whatever. Just call me Mr. Woodhouse.
Yeah, Mr. Woodhouse, or he'll take you to the woodshed. All right, so the question is this. And I want you to look at this poll, Internet. It is among independents. That is, Mitt Romney leads Barack Obama 46% to 33% among independents. In the remaining weeks of this general election campaign, what are you and the Obama campaign going to do to turn that around? Well,
first of all, I don't think we need to debate polls, but they're polls that show an opposite result than the one in the Fox News poll. But look, this has been a monologue. The Republican Party has had a year where they have gone state by state by state, and Mitt Romney's been the leading monologuer, so to speak, where they have just been tearing down the president. We're getting ready to have our say. They've been on the air. Their super PACs have been on the air. We've done virtually no advertising. The president hasn't really started his campaign. His first rallies are not even until next week. So there's a long way between now and then. But let me say this, and we've said this from the beginning. This is going to be a close election. You know, the president didn't get 65% of the vote in 2008. He got 53% of the vote. This is a closely divided country, but in the end, the American people are going to do the math, and they're going to say, you know what, the progress that we're making, 4 million jobs over the past 25 months in the private sector, is better than losing 750,000 jobs a month like we were when he came in.
Sean Spicer, you probably will not point out, but I will, that all of those millions of dollars of super PAC ads that Brad just referenced, most of them were attacking Mitt Romney or Mitt Romney attacking another Republican. They definitely don't like President Obama, but you guys enter into the general election season after one of the most divisive, one of the most obstreperous Republican nominating processes. Now, it was a lot shorter than people expected. Right. Mitt Romney emerged faster, but it's not been all hunky-dory as you guys have gone along. How do you and the Romney campaign go about the business of healing some of these painful rifts?
Well, I think you saw that yesterday. You saw some of the comments that Senator Santorum has made over the last 48 hours. You saw Speaker Gingrich come out and say that he's going to be suspending his campaign and he's committed to winning not just the White House, but maintaining the House and picking up the Senate. So I think you're seeing that coming together. Primaries are nasty. Or can be nasty. There was one on their side. I think Barack Obama and Senator Clinton at the time went at it pretty hard. So I think to some degree ours was probably less than theirs. But I think the numbers that you just pointed out, we declared Mitt Romney the presumptive nominee yesterday morning. And already when you start looking at the head-to-head polls, now that the smoke is cleared and it's not Republican going after Republican, that we are in a great position. And with all due respect, I mean, if their first rally is in May, I mean, that says a lot in terms of what they think has been going on and that the American people don't understand a lot. I mean, the president has been going out day after day in battleground states. He's done 120 fundraisers, more than any president in history at this point. He's out there giving campaign-style events on taxpayer dime in battleground states. Absolutely, they're cheering and rallies. I mean, that is.
We should point out, before you guys get into this, we should point out that the RNC filed a complaint with the Government Accountability Office alleging that the president has been ripping off the taxpayers by holding campaign-style events at taxpayers.
And let me say this: they had to shop the chairman of their party to Breitbart TV to make that announcement. It was the stunt of a lifetime. The president was out talking about student loans this week, and guess what they're going to vote on Friday in the House of Representatives? Student loans. That's his job. You know, his job is to go out and advocate for policies that he supports. And Speaker Boehner, the Republican, has scheduled a vote on student loans, which is what the president was talking about this week. That's part of his official duties.
Right. And so if you want, let's talk about official duties. The president for 3 years has done nothing on this. When he was a senator in 2007 and had an opportunity to vote on the same thing twice, he was AWOL.
Well, in 2007,
I mean, let's get to the
day. Let's get to the news of the day.
You agree that
Brad, let's get to the news of the day.
Sure.
When we say, I mean, obviously when the president goes to a college campus and gives a campaign-style speech, he may be talking about an issue that's germane to the House, but that is seen as helping his re-election effort, right?
Well, but I don't know what anyone would suggest. Should the president
do it from the front lawn, though? Should he do it from the Rose Garden?
Should the president never leave Washington while while there's a whole big country to see? I mean, everybody says we shouldn't be.
We shouldn't be. Battleground states. He never seems to go to Montana, Wyoming, anywhere that's not a battleground state. That's a very interesting.
Romney spending in Montana?
Mitt Romney's not president. He's campaigning to be president.
You're suggesting that the president should never leave Washington.
No, how about sometimes, one time, go to something that's not a battleground state?
The funny thing about this is that where were you complaining about this when Republican presidents were traveling?
And George W. Bush.
This isn't even close.
Okay, well, this is a good opportunity to invite
that George Bush followed.
It's a good opportunity to invite these young Georgetown students, these people who you are in the process. We are all in the process of disillusioning about politics. Who has a question out here? Who among you would like to ask our distinguished panel? No one? Right there in the front row, gentlemen, let's give this, stand up, and first thing, tell us your name, because you're about to have a microphone. It'll make it a lot easier for you.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Chris Sparks.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. And you were speaking about the upcoming elections on student loans in the House of Representatives this week and other events that are going to be happening in Congress in the near future that are obviously going to affect what we vote in the coming year for the presidential election. But I wanted to ask the experts.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
What do you see as Congress's role in determining who the next president of the United States will be?
Okay, the question, and the microphone was not working, but the question is, and we'll put this to both of you, what do you see as the role for Congress in determining how much of a part will Congress play in this?
Well, look, we know this goes on, that the House will schedule votes that are intended to embarrass Democrats. The Democrats may schedule votes in the Senate intended to embarrass Republicans. But really what they should be doing is they should be doing what the president's been talking about. In fact, they should be doing what Mitt Romney's been talking about. They should be working together to try to pass a plan, pass legislation to help create jobs and move the country forward. They really shouldn't be involved in their official capacity in the election, but of course that's just part of politics.
Well, first, I just want to pick up on one thing that Brad said last, and then I'll go on. But it's interesting that how the end of Brad's comment, he said we follow the same rules George Bush did. And one, this president said I'm going to be different than everyone else. Two, it's interesting how they choose to follow George Bush.
Why are you dissing on George Bush?
I have huge respect for George Bush, but it's just funny how you guys bash George Bush except for when you want to use George Bush.
Well, no, but of course.
Hold on. Let me just answer the question.
There are a set of rules that govern travel for presidents.
The House is obviously
what we follow.
Okay, I'm going to answer the question that's on the table, though.
You should know that first time.
The House is controlled by Republicans. We've sent over 30 bills to the Senate to that have stalled there that we think will help create jobs, get this economy going. On the Senate side, what they haven't done is they haven't passed a budget in 1,100 days. They haven't taken up a lot of votes that will create jobs. They haven't dealt with Keystone. Here's the interesting thing.
Okay,
you want to talk about agenda?
We got to go. 10
I think
seconds.
he's had his say.
Go ahead. 10 seconds.
Well, no. I mean, the fact of the matter is the House Republicans have done nothing to create jobs. They have stood in the way of creating jobs.
All right,
because they think it'll benefit them politically.
All right, Internet. Just be glad of this. They're not sharing a cab going back, so they don't have to. They don't have to fight all the way back to Capitol Hill. Gentlemen, we thank you for being with us. Let's hear a hand for these bold.
I don't think I'd clap for us, but that's all right.
And now, Internet, we have to take a quick break.